is what I want now. No, I won't settle for anything else. I can't keep pretending. It's not getting to me. It's never ending. Can't give you what you need. Oh no, no. You're misbehaving. Yeah, it's getting to me. It's never ending. You can give anything, so you can go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, so I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Oh, you better go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, so I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, so you can go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You better go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus. I just need to focus on myself, baby, something to say to me, then say it to my face. What it's all about, why you're bailing out. Think you owe me an apology. Just say it to my face. You're sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. You're so sorry. Say it to my face, you're sorry. And I quit my job for you, even quit some friends for you, 'cause you couldn't stand it, me all independent, so you had to have me for yourself. That was when I trusted you, when I could add up 2 and 2, when you promised we'd be together, you, me, forever. Now there's nothing left to lose. And though I understand it's hard sometimes to make up your mind in these trying times, yeah, I just can't accept you leaving me when I'm overseas with the heart so heavy. Think that I deserve the truth for once, not a guilty tone, 'cause you're not alone.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Yesterday was a breakthrough day in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. If you've been following along the trial at all, you saw yesterday Rittenhouse himself took the stand, became very emotional. There was also a moment during the trial where the judge became emotional as well. Things just very tense in the courtroom. This, as the trial begins to wrap up, and the fate of Rittenhouse will be determined by jurors. If you haven't been following the case, this is the individual who crossed state lines at the age of 17 with a firearm during protest for Jacob Blake. He killed 2 people and injured another. I want you guys to take a look. These are just some of the highlights from the trial yesterday. Take a look.
And there were there were 3 people right there.
Take a deep breath, Kyle.
That's what I... That's what I run.
I was astonished when you began your examination by commenting on the defendant's post-arrest silence. I have no idea why you would do something like that.
I have practiced before you, Your Honor. Your practice oftentimes is to reserve ruling on those until you see the evidence. If you want to yell at me, you can. My good faith feeling this morning after watching that testimony was you had left the door open a little bit, now we had something new, and I was going to probe it.
I don't believe you.
Just asked you, so you're a certified EMT, and you said yes, correct?
Yes.
That was a lie, correct?
I'm not an EMT.
There was no more danger. Why not go home at that point?
I was still helping people provide medical first aid.
But there's no one around that needs medical help at the 59th Street car source at that point. But you told the crowd he had a gun, didn't you?
That's what I said.
And that wasn't true. Mr. Rosenbaum never had a gun, right?
He didn't have a gun.
You just had shot someone, correct?
I did.
Why didn't you tell the truth?
I was being chased by a mob, and I don't really remember that interaction.
Gage Grosskreutz is a threat to you right now.
Yes.
He's got a pistol not aimed at you. You've got an AR-15 aimed at him. Why is he more of a threat to you?
I've been attacked by several people, and he decided to come and point a gun at my head. Well, first,
He hasn't done that yet.
he was moving at me with a gun in his hand.
So those are the highlight moments from the trial yesterday. And Ben, you know, the thing that I just keep coming back to, especially when Rittenhouse was crying, was that a real moment? Was that authentic, or was that something that was rehearsed and that his lawyer suggested he act out?
Even their acting is subpar, Georgia. Good morning. My 3-year-old does a better performance of feigning tears whenever he doesn't get his way than Kyle Rittenhouse did yesterday. That said, all that needs to have happened was his attempt to seem remorseful. And white supremacy has a magnificent way of washing away all of the sins. Take a look at Brett Kavanaugh, who likes to drink beer. The Supreme Court justice who used the fact that he likes to drink beer and all of his tears as his way to get to the Supreme Court. And once America saw those white men's tears, everyone was like, oh, and this is what we're faced with right now.
You know, the other side of this, Ben, you know, I was curious why his attorney even allowed him to go on the stand in the first place. I mean, for example, everybody watched the Derek Chauvin trial. Chauvin's attorney refused to allow him to get on that stand because you never know what's going to happen. And you never know exactly how jurors are going to receive you as the defendant, if they're going to believe you, if they're going to trust you. And what I'll say with Rittenhouse, he got on the stand there, and during cross-examination, he admitted on several different points that he had lied previously. Claims that he had made about being attacked, acting in self-defense, were not substantiated because at no time was there any physical contact, and there was no gun pointed at him until the third individual walked towards him. And at that point, he had already killed 2 people.
See, Georgia, this crowd likes to say that facts don't care about your feelings. This crowd doesn't care about facts. They more than happily reverse the order of what happened, disregard the timeline as presented in court. They will ignore that and still forward this narrative that poor Kyle Rittenhouse was being pursued by this rabid mob that came to harm him. And this is the narrative that the media is running with. And I also would suggest the fact that the media is taking Kyle Rittenhouse and using it completely to forget about the fact that the murderers of Ahmaud Arbery are on trial right now. So it's kind of a insult to injury, if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. And, simultaneously, while these 2 trials are going on here in Minnesota, we're preparing for the Kimberly Potter trial, which will have some updates about that a little bit later here on the clock. But, before we transition from the Rittenhouse trial, Ben, things are getting ready to wrap up. What do you think, given all of the testimony and evidence that's been presented, what do you think is going to happen in this case?
I think this white man is going to get off. So many times we saw, and it's going to be another justification. One thing that stood out to me, Georgia, is the prosecutor who's like, all of a sudden, like, I can't believe you, judge. Like, I do this all the time. This technique that the prosecutor did, that the judge made all of the fuss about, this was something that showed a light, that shines a light in the eyes of the prosecutors, that judge himself is not really there for justice. So I think we're going to have a dog and pony show. And I think that this man is going to get off. I hate to say it, but sometimes we have to prepare ourselves for what this justice system or this injustice system has done so many times before.
Yeah. And I mean, to your point, if the defense has done a sufficient job of showing that Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense, there is a high chance that he could get off. The other side is, even if he's found guilty, we have seen this judge show favor for the defense at the very beginning of the trial, when he said that the 2 individuals who were killed could not be referred to victims, but they could be referred to as protesters or rioters. And so even if Rittenhouse is found guilty, will he receive fair sentencing for killing 2 people and injuring another?
This judge is all but acting as a defense attorney. So I doubt anything seriously comes from this case. I think it is a dog and pony show for conservatives to remind themselves that they can still get away with murder.
Yeah. Well, I know you've been following some coverage this morning as well.
Yes. No. Also, we're taking a look at the 10 new subpoenas. Last night, a federal judge has rejected, for rather a different story here, the federal judge has rejected Donald Trump's play to block documents from being given to the January 6th committee. Now, this has already filed notice of an appeal, but it still has to go to a court order stopping the documents from going to Congress while the appeal is pending. Let's take a look at this first clip, and it's explaining it a lot better than I'm able to right now.
For the second straight day, the January 6th committee investigating the insurrection at the Capitol has issued a fresh batch of subpoenas. And some of the biggest names from former President Trump's inner circle are on the list. It includes the former White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, and the former president's senior advisor, Stephen Miller. McEnany was reportedly with Mr. Trump as he watched the January 6th attack unfold on television. And congressional investigators say Miller played a key role in pushing state legislatures to overturn the election results.
The January 6th committee is zeroing in on Donald Trump's inner circle, issuing subpoenas today for close advisors who spent the most time with him in the White House, who saw and heard what he did right before and during the Capitol riot. John McEntee, who at just 29 years old became one of Trump's most powerful and fiercely loyal aides, and Molly Michael, his personal secretary, who sat right outside the Oval Office.
At least 35 subpoenas overall have been issued so far, but will any of the people testify?
Now, this is another example, Georgia. It really parallels the Rittenhouse case quite well, if you ask me, because we see the hubris and how far these people can get with a system of justice that we never get to experience as black people. These subpoenas are all but being ignored. And the question is how far and how long will they be able to ignore them? And I just can't think of many circumstances that many people other than the elite, the wealthy, the rich, the connected, the conservative, these Republicans, the president's inner circle, quite frankly, could get away with simply ignoring subpoenas from Congress.
You know, I just keep thinking about the caucasity of folks doing what they did on January 6th and contrasting that to Election Day, was it 2020? When you had 646 people arrested on a highway in Minneapolis. They didn't have transportation for 646 people. They didn't even have 646 handcuffs. But somehow they found a way on site to arrest 646 people to send a message that they were tired of the protesting that had been happening here for months after the murder of George Floyd, to send a message to protesters to not take the highway, and an intimidation tactic. And so if you could think of, city, state law enforcement working together to apprehend 646 people and issue tickets on site they had to come up with a system in that moment on how to process more than 600. It was the largest arrest that has ever happened in Minnesota. And how come that wasn't the strategy, the tactic, the approach to the insurrectionists? Why are we here months later trying to go through footage and identify people and subpoena people across multiple state lines and difference? Do you know how complicated this has become and how many different federal and state resources are being used to track these people down? And then not to mention, like you said, folks are ignoring their subpoenas. And so how much resources are we going to deploy into tracking people down and forcing them to show up in court? And and will they testify, right? How come they weren't arrested on site? How come citations weren't given out on January 6th?
Right. I think that is so critical, right? I think it's honestly because the system knows whose side it is on. When we cover these protests, we often see the police officers have their batons facing us and their backs facing white supremacy. Look at every protest, look at every interaction. The police always have their back to the Nazis and the white supremacists. I think that happens, Georgia, because they know whose side they are on. I think it's time for us to get to be familiar with that reality as well. Here's a second clip. Here's another breakdown from Rachel Maddow. I'm not really always, anyway, let's take a look at this clip as she breaks down the next part of it.
A federal judge tonight has just ruled on former President Donald Trump's attempt to try to keep documents from his time in the White House out of the hands of the investigation in Congress into the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Last month, Trump filed a lawsuit against the January 6th investigation, as well as the National Archives, which holds on to all presidential documents. The lawsuit aimed to prevent the National Archives from handing over Trump White House documents and records to the investigation. The suit argued that those documents were protected by executive privilege and they must be shielded from the investigators. In reality, the person who actually gets to assert that something is protected by executive privilege is not a former president, but the current president. And President Biden's White House counsel's office reviewed the documents in question and said, actually, no, these are not privileged documents at all. These can be given to the investigation. This federal judge has issued her ruling on that lawsuit, and she has summarily rejected Donald Trump's attempt to shield these documents from the January 6th investigation in Congress. Quote, the plaintiff does not acknowledge the deference owed to the incumbent president's judgment, meaning President Biden, who waived executive privilege on these documents. Quote, his position that he may override the express will of the executive branch appears to be premised on the notion that his executive power exists in perpetuity. But presidents are not kings, and plaintiff is not president. The court holds that the public interest lies in permitting the combined will of the legislative and executive branches to study the events that led to and occurred on January 6th, and to consider legislation to prevent such events from ever occurring again. This ruling says, in effect, that Trump's assertion of privilege is bogus and that there is a strong and legitimate public interest in these documents being given to the investigation. Trump has filed a notice that he intends to appeal this ruling to the D.C. Appeals Court, barring any movement on that. With this ruling from this judge tonight, all the documents that the investigation is seeking are now expected to be turned over to the January 6th investigation by the end of this week.
Now, we wanted to play as much as we did because there's so much context there that it was summarized very succinctly. Here's a critical thing. Donald Trump is trying to assert an executive privilege that he no longer has because he's not president of the United States. While this portion of the story is very, very important, I want everyone to focus on something else, though. If he's behaving like this out of power, consider the fact that they have a full mobilization to try to get him back in power in 2024. So let's consider what he would do if he ever got back in power.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a real question to ask. And, as I just reflect on January 6th altogether, Trump's role, what he's doing now, what it brings up for me, Ben, is there are two fundamentally different concepts of the criminal justice system. For people who participated in January 6th, who broke out windows at the Capitol, who stormed into the offices of people in Congress, who broke the law, they are still innocent until proven guilty. Mm-hmm. But for people who look like you and I, we are guilty until proven innocent. And so I keep coming back to that, is just how different this is being handled because of the type of people who were involved and the type of people who broke the law. And so I am not surprised that their ringleader, while he is no longer in office, is still trying to make this system work for him. But I think he has gone beyond what even the craziest Republican, the craziest person on the right would ever go. And so a lot of people are not standing behind him anymore because they see just how dangerous he is and how far he's willing to go.
I'm afraid there's not enough of those. I think this is that's an important point. Where this Republican Party goes from here is so critical, but all indications from my best estimation, these people are just going to fall over and capitulate to Donald Trump because, well, he's the biggest bully in a room full of bullies.
I hope not. But you might be right, and the reson why
I hope I'm wrong too. I hope I'm wrong.
If Donald Trump is reelected, I really don't know what the future of our nation looks like. I don't know if we'll have a nation. I mean, at that point, would it be safe to say that we're moving in the place of having a dictatorship? Because what he has shown to us, he might get in there and try to change the law that a president can only serve 2 terms, but yeah, it's something to definitely think about.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say here's a more terrifying notion to me is the approval rating of the president right now and the vice president and the performance of the Congress, because all roads are leading to exactly that, Georgia. The performance of this Congress and the performance of the president is, it's abysmal when we consider the threat on the other side of it. And so we needed a White House that was getting stuff done, but instead we have a White House that is, still trying to appease, Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, all while Donald Trump is lurking in the background, ready to seize that kind of power you're talking about.
Yeah, there's got to be some serious organizing that happens in order to counter the campaign that Trump is going to roll out. And I don't know who that person is. I definitely don't think that person is Joe Biden. Joe Biden has shown that he's, so conservative on issues that are important to the Black community, and he's not willing to go up against the status quo in a Democratic Party. So here we are. We do have some time to figure it out, but this is a serious question that we need to start asking ourselves because Trump did a lot of damage while he was in office.
That's right. And I think they're coming back to finish the job. And if we don't govern ourselves accordingly, if we don't carry ourselves accordingly and engage in rhetorical combat, political combat, these people are playing for keeps. They want the entirety of our democracy. And it's not overestimating it or overstating it, rather, to say that these people dream of what we have a nightmare of. That Handmaid's Tale, Margaret Atwood, that is their dream. And that's something that we're fighting against.
Who do you think would be a strong candidate to oppose him?
It just gets scarier. Donald Trump is over there on the right, they're lining up. You have Senator Tom Cotton, whose name itself is drenched with white supremacy and Jim Crow. You can't get more racist than Cotton as a last name, but his behavior suggests that he actually can get much more racist than his last name. And he's vying to be the next president. You have Josh Hawley, who thinks the boys are not manly enough. His thing is stop playing video games, boys, stop watching pornography and come out here and be a real man. So that's his particular flavor of fascism. So to be honest with you, everything to the right of Donald Trump is even more terrifying.
And do you think that there is, anyone, whether, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Do you think there's anyone specifically who would make a good president?
Oh, George, you trying to get me? No, we're not. I'm not jumping down that rabbit hole this morning. Good morning. Not on the Democratic side of the equation. I would tell you this: we need a president that's actually going to get something done, right? Unapologetically. Yeah. And let me tell you, let's say it very clearly. He's got to get something done for Black people. So if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, if they're not the people willing to get something done for Black people, then they're not the people who are ready to beat Donald Trump in 2024.
I thought you were going to say Nina Turner or, something of that such.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm not going to let you take me into all the fights. I got to choose my fights this morning. What else are you watching?
What presidential endorsement for 2024?
What are you watching in the news for this last story, Sister Ford?
Well,
you almost got me too. Yeah, you almost got me.
That I'm a journalist. I have to ask the good questions, right? So here in the Twin Cities, we're seeing some developments in the Dante Wright case, the trial of Kimberly Potter. She, was the judge, that is Judge Regina Chu. She had previously denied the motion for cameras to be in the courtroom, for the trial to be live streamed. And as we talked about earlier this week, Ben, there was a group of protesters over this past weekend who actually showed up to the judge's house and was protesting. And we rolled a clip of a previous judge, a retired white judge, elderly man, who called the protesters' actions stupid. And, that that disturbed me a bit because the progress that I have seen in the pursuit of justice here in St. Paul and Minneapolis has only come because protesters continue to show up and apply pressure. And it's even the case for Kimberly Potter's her charges. She originally was only charged with second-degree manslaughter, and protesters showed up at the home of the prosecutor and demanded that he increase the charges. Well, needless to say, she's now charged with first degree manslaughter, in addition to the second degree manslaughter. And after the protest, 2 days after the protest at the judge's home, guess what? The motion for cameras to be in the courtroom was approved. And so when you get this commentary of this man here, this is the former judge who you see on screen who called that protest stupid. What else do you expect people to do, especially when these efforts have proven to be effective?
That's right. That's right. They want to neutralize us by telling us what type of protest is acceptable. But if our protest is acceptable, it's not a protest. And so they try to psych us out. And while we were watching this and we were talking about this the other day, you mentioned how this media coverage itself was biased because they put up this retired white judge to give this perspective and nobody else. Right. Which itself is a manipulative technique by the media and the powerful to discourage protests, to say, no, nobody's out here. This is not the right way to do it. This is not but instead, what we saw happen was the truth. When we speak up, when we use our voices and we put our boots on that pavement, we get results.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so the Kimberly Potter trial will be live streamed. We will be doing coverage around the trial. Again, this is the officer who says that she mistook her gun for her taser, that during a traffic stop with, at the time, 20-year-old Dante Wright, she was going to tase him, but accidentally had her gun and fatally shot him. So in this case, in this specific case, we'll be finding out whether or not jurors will buy into the defense that it was an honest mistake. It was accidental. But, this, I think, case was so significant because we were 3 weeks in to the Derek Chauvin trial. That's and right. Already everyone was on edge. There was so much tension at that time. I remember it very vividly because no one in the country thought that Derek Chauvin was going to be found guilty. And even if people did think he was going to be found guilty, absolutely nobody thought he was going to be found guilty on all charges. And so there was this suspense and anticipation of the verdict in that trial, which hadn't even wrapped up. There was one more week left in the trial when Dante Wright was killed. And so people were just on edge because some folks were terrified that if Derek Chauvin was found not guilty, the city was going to burn. And being here on the ground, there was military everywhere. There was a plan to deploy even more military for the verdict day in case it was not guilty. And so I remember that they actually fast-tracked their plans since they already had a plan in place. If things went wrong and Chauvin was found not guilty, they had, the military was activated already. And so instead of using those resources for a not guilty verdict, they ended up using those resources to respond to the protests, wow. After the death of Dante Wright. And wow. So it was a lot. There was a lot happening. People were out protesting for Dante Wright. People were still protesting the trial. And so here we are, 6 months later, and we'll find out what's going to happen to Kimberly Potter.
Georgia, that the way you described how that flowed from being resources, and by resources we mean like military resources, assets, tanks, basically,
yeah.
These are actual military resources from the battlefield that has now found its way to local policing agencies, and the fact that they had it in position ready to be deployed in case the verdict came down as not guilty. And then they just sashayed it right on over there to another police shooting to control the crowd because they just cannot stop killing us. At the end of the day, all of this is because even with the Kyle Rittenhouse case, they want to be able to kill people with whom they politically disagree. And that's why they're fighting so hard to get Kyle Rittenhouse off. And that's why we see at any drop of a dime, this military industrial complex will be brought down to bear to silence not them, us, because their backs are towards the white supremacists and their batons are towards us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Ben, what can people look forward to the rest of the show? What's coming up?
We've got a show full of Pascals. We have Pascal Robert coming from the Black Agenda Report and This Is Revolution podcast. He's coming on to talk about black politics, the black misleadership class, and what does that look like going into the future. And we also have our brother from the Pascal show. He's coming to sit in on Like It or Not. So it's a morning full of Pascals.
We'll keep it here for that and more on the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Swerving, making plays, good Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man.
Don't feel right. I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her. We been chillin' off the Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday, when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I ask her to stay. She broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my life, every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Always down every weekend. No, 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 I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. It's 11:11, and so I guess soon it'll be 11:11. Anyway, I digress. I'm joined by my friend and friend of the show, Brother Pascal Robert. From Black Agenda Report, as well as This Is Revolution podcast. And his most recent piece over there at the Black Agenda Report is Are Black People the Crash Test Dummies for Democrats? Brother, that title is stabbing me in the heart, man. Tell us about that article, because we got to catch up on a whole lot of things here.
Absolutely. Well, the premise of the piece is that basically the Democratic Party uses the misery.
Yeah, we don't have. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we're good to go now, brother. Go ahead. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, brother. Good to see you. Good morning to you and your crew as well.
Thank you,
basically, the premise of the piece is that the Democratic Party uses the misery and suffering of Black people as a means to maintain legitimacy as seeming as the barometer of the civil rights movement party, while actually not performing in terms of policy measures for the Black community, and constantly using them as crash test dummies to either promote candidates or promote voting for them regularly without return on investment. And I start the article talking about how in 2008, you saw certain thought leaders in the Black community. For example, there was an article in the New York Times that came out around the time Obama was being elected called Is Barack Obama the End of Black Politics? And in that interview, one of Obama's pollsters, I believe his name is Cornell Belcher, is talking about how Obama is the new Black politics, and that, we don't really worry about those civil rights things that we used to in the past, and that he's the embodiment of all our aspirations. And at the same time, we see in Obama's presidency, Black people lose over 35% of their wealth. We see that, we have the beginning of all of the, police homicides across the country. 95% of his job growth were low-wage temp jobs. The opioid epidemic hits, the working class white community pretty hard. And as a result, the material benefits of his presidency end up, basically bringing forth nothing in terms of benefits to large numbers of the Black community. Yet again, Black people were used as crash test dummies and told, put your
hey, Pascal, nah, man, hold on, slow down, bro. You can't talk about President Obama like that on these here internets, man. We get, and you got to understand, Pascal. Not that we're going to make this conversation a referendum on Barack Obama, but we most certainly had to make it a referendum on the style of politics that have led us to today. However, bro, they got Barack Obama on the mantelpieces of every grandmama's house across the country. Man, my father-in-law got it up in his house now.
Well, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is to keep Black people intoxicated with the notion of the first Black this, the first Black that, without any kind of return on investment for supporting that kind of shallow, vapid, empty symbolism. It's really a catch-22 situation that we find ourselves in this vicious cycle where the only thing Black people are rendered to being able to aspire from receiving from their politics is symbolism and, chucks and pearls and ski-wee and I went to HBCUs.
Hey, hold on. God, man, hold on, Pascal, because ain't nothing you're saying wrong. But what you're saying is cutting deep, man, because now you're talking about the vice president, who's an Alpha Kappa Alpha, and so is my wife.
I'm in one of these black fraternities.
I'm not. And listen. I'm just playing the foil here, right? Because at the end of the day, y'all been saying this over the Black Agenda Report since before people like me actually got woke. All right. I'm going to claim that word back. I'm sorry, all white folks who messed it up. I'm going to claim it back. Over at the Black Agenda Report, y'all been speaking this truth for a long time. Rest in power to Bruce Dixon and Brother Ford, Glenn Ford. Yeah. His first name almost escaped me there for a second. Two powerful brothers. Here's the situation we're faced with today, though. They've made it exceedingly easy for this critique to be broadcast across any channel. Because you can't tell me that black people are supposed to sit back and say, not only are we not going to, get any material increase, not only are we going to suffer a material decrease, but we're also going to sit back and let you just snatch away voting, like the entire pretense of the Democratic Party was voting. And now we can't even do that, bro.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Brother Dixon, because one of the things I discussed in my piece is a bit of a controversy that was going on in the chattering class circles between certain black media figures and certain white journalists. I don't know if you're familiar with Eli Mistel, who's at the Nation. He's the black MSNBC contributor. The Frederick Douglass.
I know. Yeah, I know. Cool dude. What you got on?
He wrote. No, I'm not mad at him, but he wrote an article in the Nation a while back. Basically, the title of the article is "Are the Democrats are going to abandon black people again?" And what he was discussing was the rise of this particular political data analyst named David Shore. Now, David Shore is a young white guy who works within the Obama administration and in the constellation of the Biden administration. He's basically a pollster, data analyst kind of guy, and he's been making statements to the Democratic Party insiders. There was a great interview with him with Ezra Klein in the New York Times, where he's saying, listen, all of this racial woke grievance stuff, it's costing you votes, and we need to appeal to the white working class. Literally saying.
Boy, you about to make me have a conniption over here. That's how they lost that's how they lost that strategy of ignoring black. Please continue, because you about to make me flip my lid over here. This is who, and why is he so powerful?
Well, basically, he's very well liked by the Obama team. Biden has a lot of respect for this guy, David Shore. I encourage you to look at the article and listen to the arguments they're making. Basically, he did a calculation, and he's saying that with the actual population demographics in the United States, even if we maximize our black voter turnout participation of over 90%, we would still need to be able to capture an increased percentage of working class whites to be able to maintain control of the Senate. So what he's saying is that, yes, we might be able to win a presidency here or there, but it would be futile because with the demographics of how the country works, because we have a Senate that's basically undemocratic, right? Because you have a state like Wyoming in the Senate that gets the same representation as a state like New York or California, which are much more populated. And as a result, what he's saying is that the way the Senate works and the way in which the red states are populated, even if we did get the black voters to turn out in their districts, don't forget we also have a gerrymandered congressional apparatus as well. It would not really change the reality in the Congress and make that president, who would be a Democrat, able to govern. The only way we'll be able to maintain strong Democratic Party majorities in the Senate or in the House is if we appeal to those voters that traditionally were a part of the Democratic Party base before the 50-year counter-revolution against the New Deal Civil Rights Coalition, starting with Nixon. So he's making this argument, and Elie Mystal is like, y'all are about to throw us under the bus again. And I cite to another article by one of David Shore's acolytes. His name is Eric Levitz, and he's saying, listen, Elie Mystal is not saying anything that can prove that our numbers about how we need to appeal to these working class whites is incorrect. He may not like what we're saying, but pretty much Levitz lays down the gauntlet. He says, listen, black people need a strong national labor relation board to protect their working rights. Black people need a president that's going to protect civil rights. So they're going to have to vote for the Democrats anyway. So you can't make an argument that says that's going to be wrong for us to appeal to working class whites, even if they're bigoted. Any vote we can get in that area is better for us. And Mr. I think it's Mr. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He loses his mind. He's like, this is a recipe for disaster. And what is fascinating to me, for your viewers who may not be old enough to remember, this is the exact strategy that the Democratic Party took after the 1984 election, when Reagan won his second term. They did a massive polling status, and they found that the perception of the Democratic
I'm over here. I'm like, man, this brother is. I'm just talking, and my microphone has been mute. And I needed to interject because you have so much rich content there before you move to this next point. And then I also wanted to pause and recognize my brother, DJ Exclusive, who was on the screen there for a moment. I didn't see him when he came on. I don't want to see my brother come on and not recognize him. But good morning to you, DJ Exclusive. That said, it is black folks are in a rock and a hard place, but I also see it as an opportunity and an inflection point, because it is true that they are going to have to get some white working class voters. But here's a calculus that I see them doing, and I need you to help me to walk me through it to see if you agree. Instead of them saying, hey, let's actually do something for the white working voters, let's actually, give them some good tax, codes. Let's make sure that something actually trickles down instead of just trickles down on us. Let's actually give people some material benefits. Instead of doing that, they want to drop the racial aspect of blackness and this fight against white supremacy, because that constitutes wokeness and it scares away the white working class voters. So instead of giving the white working class voters something material, they're just pandering to their bigotry.
Let me break it down. You are absolutely correct. And let me break it down to you even deeper. In 1984, the Democrats did a massive polling data of their voter base. And they asked white voters what was the perception they had of the Democratic Party. And literally, large numbers of white voters said that the perception was that you guys give too much to the black voters, that you are basically just, they are on the dole of the Democratic Party. I cite to the article.
Wait, what did you get from you got something from the Democratic Party, DJ Exclusive? Because I see it. You got something, Pascal?
No, not at all. Not at all. So the point
I just want to check.
The point is, though, what I want to share with you is that what happens after this study they do. This is around the same time as the rise of the DLC, the Democratic Leadership Conference, which pivots the position of the Democratic Party to more to the side of corporate America, appealing to corporate finance, tough on crime. And this is the politics that gives birth to the Clinton crime bill, cutting welfare, financial deregulation, all of that horrible 90s Clintonian third way neoliberal stuff that, by the way, was racialized in a way that was even more damaging to black communities, came out as a product of this initial research that the Democratic Party basically had to be harder on black people in order to court working class whites. And what I'm here to tell you is that not only are you correct in that they will probably abandon the quote unquote wokeness stuff, and some of that wokeness stuff doesn't help anyway because it doesn't do anything policy wise to improve the conditions of black folk. It's sloganeering that they use to legitimize themselves as a party of quote unquote civil rights and justice. It's really a con game, but they want to even get rid of that. And as a consequence, I think it's possible that they pivot to the policy mantra of the bad old days of the Clinton era, which means that So, I mean, they did it once. Why not do it again? Right. So, even though I find a lot of the black liberal chatter in class kind of vapid, I can't be mad at someone like Miss Dow who's like sounding the alarm, like, yo, they're about to throw us under the bus. But what is fascinating is this guy, Eric Levitz, in New York Magazine, is like, yo, stop your blood clot crying, as we like to say in New York.
Not the blood clot.
You know what I'm saying? You know, listen, we got to appeal to these working class whites, and there's nothing you can do about it, because if we don't, we're not going to have any power, and you know you're not going to get anything from the Republicans. So literally what we're seeing is basically the Democratic Party is using a data expert as their kind of potential model for future messaging that might recast the Democratic Party in a way where they return to one of their worst eras in terms of the policies that they put forth, in terms of how they resulted in decimation of the black community.
Pascal, I would like to put their data expert up against mine, because he's wrong. And people like that, what's his name again? What's this look?
David Shore, S-H-O-R.
See, we got a good David on our team. This David Shore, I don't know who this David is, but he's surely wrong. Because if y'all play that game, let me tell you something. You've already made it easy enough for us to say, man, I voted for Biden and all I got was a Rahm Emanuel ambassadorship. Y'all gonna turn around and now say, not only are we not going to actively do something for you black folks, we're going to actually abandon the facade of wokeness and blackness and all that stuff. But here's the thing, before I get there too long, there's a whole lot of stuff that I want from the Democratic Party that ain't got nothing to do with wokeness. You know, a livable wage, Medicare,
federal jobs guarantee.
Come on, man. What else can we get? Because there's plenty of stuff black folks want that ain't got woke on it. What else we want?
Well, this is the thing. And this is where I think that we're in a real kind of existential crisis with black politics. I've said this a few places, and I probably have to write it in an article. We are in a position where, from my analysis, the first time in the political history of black America in this country, definitely since the Voting Rights Act, the fulcrum of black politics is in the rightward conservative flank of the Democratic Party, the neoliberal corporate faction, and the majority of white progressives are to the left of black people. That's actually unprecedented. Think about it. Traditionally, black people are on the more radical, more progressive faction of the Democratic Party.
Well, they got rid of those guys.
Even in 1984, you had Jesse Jackson, who was representing the left flank. In the 70s, you had black people, you had the New Deal Civil Rights Coalition. You even had people that were advocating socialism in the early 70s coming out of the Gary Convention. But what happens is that when the black political class develops in 1972 at the Gary Political Convention, when they basically usurp the authority of the radicals, the activists that come out of the civil rights movement, like the SNCC activists, the Panthers, and so on and so forth, there's a shift in black politics that occurs in 72, where now the establishment, the Congressional Black Caucus, the early black mayors are deemed as the responsible titular leaders of black politics. And that is the beginning of the pivot on when black politics becomes a more conservative kind of, give us some black capitalism, give us some racial uplift programs type politics. That trajectory gets worse and worse and worse to now we're at the point where the fulcrum of black electoral politics, I know we have other organizations that are to the left, Black Alliance for Peace, a few other activists and so on and so forth, Black Bernie supporters, but the major fulcrum of black electoral politics, particularly for black people over 40, is in the neoliberal corporate section of the Democratic Party. Look at the black political class. Look at Clyburn.
Brother Pascal.
Look at Hakeem Jeffries.
Man, listen, I could sit here and listen to you all day because you spitting truth line for line, word for word. You ain't miss a beat yet. But we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to toss it to DJ Exclusive. Brother Pascal, how much time? We can talk about this off air if you have more time, because there's another story that I want to get your input on. And there's our brother Pascal from the Pascal Show will be joining us also. So let's talk off screen for a minute. DJ Exclusive, good morning to you, brother. It's in your hands. We'll be back with Like It or Not after this break.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hope y'all are doing well. I am too glad to be here. Glad to see everyone.
I need my money right now.
Keep your morning
From
going.
the juice, they stole out my crown.
Like it or not, starting up next.
Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup it. Don't waste my energy, my energy. I
Roll the
think
dragon,
don't be wasting all my energy. I keep it tight, don't let nobody get close to me. My heart is right, don't question my integrity. No, I thought we would be just fine. I thought your heart was like mine, but let me find out you've been going around throwing shots, running laps. Come on, man, try not to block my blessings.
On and it goes. Good morning, y'all. Hey, man, make sure that y'all stay tuned, man. Like it or not, starting up next. We got more coming, man. Good morning, y'all.
I'ma go.
Sandy, good morning. You said you come from Bubba.
Paying what you owe me for, I make what you been saving by me.
I got you. Y'all stay tuned, man. Hey, y'all Walker, what's going on? Tiger Kasune, what's going on, Tiger? Mark S. Lily Espinosa, good morning, man. CNA Productions, good morning.
Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup.
Amber Layla, good morning.
My loyalty. I let you in back then because I couldn't see. But now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't never lied, I had to leave. Handle your business, do what you think you need to do to get your revenge. That you won't break me, God as my witness. Past the point of no return, I'm on a mission. Tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me.
Alicia, good morning, sister.
Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying by me true. True. Tell him I need my money right now. From me the juice, they stole out my crown. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup.
Barbara, good morning, Barbara.
Don't waste my.
Sorry is a sorry does. She just wanna cut up in the car, told her start it up. I don't wanna see it from your eyes unless it's Cartier. Ran into my old chick, she said you ain't playing fair.
One Source Productions, that's dope as hell.
No, I ain't playing fair. Playing fair, playing fair. No, I ain't playing fair. Asked her why she staying there, she said she don't know. I had to ask some more, but I really had to go and get my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. But Lindsay's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my bop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. But Lindsay's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. She said with my hot sauce, she ain't with no knockoff. See them, we gon' pop off. Uber getting dropped off, kicking in the door, we ain't knock on it. Ice on your beat, and you know it got the bop to it. Running up the strings like the stock market. They ain't with no beat, tell them stop talking. Rock the goatee like I'm Hulk Hogan. Put on R&B, then I hit her with the slow stroking. Then I told her she got hop on it, hop on it, pop on. Yeah, I get my pop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. But Lindsay's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my pop on. Yeah, I get my bop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. But Lindsay's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, yeah, double B's on me, yeah, double C's on the dough. Double D's ducking, no, going nuts for the flow. Tank on E, F it, bro. I'm a G, let him know. Who is he? ISO. Who is he? ISO. Pop on. Yeah, I get my pop on. If she wanna get in that, gotta keep the top on. But she got the top off, but I got top off. She was taking too long, but I'm feeling nod dog, so I get my pop on. Yeah, I get my pop on. If she needs some good,
don't worry, Lauren Strada, we all ate this morning.
She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. But Lindsay's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, I get my pop on. Yeah, I get my pop on. If she needs some good, tell her she got hop on. She know I'm the top dog, I know she a hot one. But Lindsay's on the feet, and you know I got the socks on. Yeah, yeah.
Shay, good morning to you, Shay. AP, good morning. Sunday night, what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, okay?
No more double, go ahead a detox. Yeah, yeah. Came from the trenches, they ain't showing us no love. Dagging in the city, all we wanted was a hug, yeah. We on the block like every night.
Everybody wants a dad joke.
My family out the hood, that's some us.
I give y'all one for the time being, but there's a reason why I'm holding back today. Go real quick. Tuesday, I told my boss, sorry I'm late. I was having computer issues. My boss says, hard drive? I said, no, the commute was fine. This is my laptop.
Baby, from the struggle, long time had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Baby, from the struggle, long time had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Pull up in that rain, see me poly, yeah. 30 piece on my wrist like I'm Harden. Either they love me or I'm a target. Cause the ice on me is flawless. I've been busy and picking up when you callin'. And on purpose, I hate the fact we ain't talking. But anything that you need, dog, I got you, I mean that. All this pressure make it hard not to relapse. Build up aggression make it hard for me to relapse. To the hood, baby, ain't no way that I'ma lead that. My dogs need hoes, step it up, I gotta be that. Cause life's all crazy, no way.
Tasia, good morning.
I'ma love you way before I gotta miss you.
What's going on? Hey man, that's okay because you know on rainy days, my wife think it's pathetic when I stare through the window. Yeah, y'all know I was married and you had a wife before. Yeah, so on rainy days, she think it's pathetic when I stare through the window. I told her it'll be less pathetic if she just let me in. Oh, Heifer got me sitting outside in the damn rain. DP, good morning. Right, say wife. Right, child, not at all. Wife, whatever that at?
Baby, from the struggle.
Okay.
Long time had a hustle. Glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through. Baby, from the struggle. Long time had a hustle. I'm glad we made it through. I'm just glad we made it through.
Marjorie Randall, good morning. Al Booker. Y'all know what time it is.
Yeah.
Sound like a wet cat.
Y'all know what time it is. Good morning, y'all. Get your coffee, tea, drink, whatever it is you need.
It's time for like
it or not, y'all.
9 a.m. to 10:30, yeah. Like it or not, is on your channel, yeah. Politics and culture is we change scan like we supposed to, yeah. Interviews and all the news we get to choose, what gets the views. Like it or not, with Queen Azor, it started now, so stick around. Like it or not, it's going down. Y'all better be singing this shit in the chat room. I see y'all. Y'all stick around. Rebecca Azor is coming through. You know she got a good story for you. Oh, Benjamin, that's my dog. This is his show. He's a politics bro. Right, TJ exclusive. Y'all know who I am. I stay dropping them jams. Like it or not, it's going down. Like it or not, Miss Newham, good morning. Y'all stick around. Like it or not, it's starting now. Like it or not, and that's why y'all stupid. It's about to go down.
Like it or not, with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, y'all.
James, what did the chat say?
Good morning and welcome to Like It or Not.
Hey, I can't read most of it.
I am James. I think it all stemmed from your joke, and it all just kind of spiraled from there. And good morning and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
Not care who doesn't like it.
It is Thursday, November 11th, 2021. Queen Azor is not in the house today. She had some stuff she had to do, so we, obviously, and today's her day off, right? She actually took
her day off. Yeah, she took her damn day off. Heifer. Good morning, Rebecca, wherever you at.
Love you, sis.
Right.
I haven't taken a day off, except for when we make the whole show take the whole day off. Outside of that, I don't take the day off.
When you off yesterday, you motherfucker.
The whole team was off. The whole team is off. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole
See, when I take off, but I'm trying to take off and let you guys be here without me. But that's around the corner. Actually, I have done that. What am I talking about? I have taken days off.
Oh, you have. That's right. You have. Yeah. It's called the
been
Benjamin Dixon Show.
Damn. God. Damn it, James.
Hey, your name is on the title. Damn all that. Your name is on the channel, not the title. It's on the channel. So
right. Like names of shows, like names of shows are cool. I got the whole network. No, I'm joking.
You got the whole goddamn channel, Ben. That's some power right there, boy.
That means I gotta be there. If anybody gonna be there, the person who name on the channel better be there. So.
Oh, he better have his ass.
I did. How you run the opera? You ain't even show up to your own job. How you just show up to your own show? It's your own show.
That sounds like some stuff I do, low key. But we ain't gonna talk about me though. We talking about Ben today.
Oh man, you know what I absolutely love is the complete and casual disregard that we have for the political situation here in this country, because they could all go to hell.
Yeah,
these people, these clowns, man, all of them, especially this judge over here with Kyle Rittenhouse, man. I am James. I need bro. I need you more than ever before, because I'm just like at the stage where I'm like, is it too soon to wish COVID on people?
I'm shut up. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah,
David, because
we're all feeling similar.
I didn't do it. I just asked the question. I'm pulling the Fox News. Pulling the Fox News.
COVID on a lot of people, and the universe has provided a little bit. So I appreciate it.
Listen to James' words. I don't wish COVID on a lot of people.
Most people, I wish you well.
Most people.
I would say 99.999% of humanity, I wish them well. I wish you nothing but sunshine, cloudless days, beautiful moments. I hope that your wine ages like you, like fine wine. But there's some people out here, man. These people who are lined up behind Kyle Rittenhouse, let's be specific, right? I'm not just talking just to be talking out the side of my neck. Man, these people really are championing a little murderer, a 17-year-old, I guess, what is he, 18, 19 now? Murderer who, because of who he killed. Now, who he killed were white people, right? Let's be sure, right? So white supremacy is now taking their own numbers. The collateral damage. Sometimes you just got to have some friendly fire. America's pretty good at that. They killed some white folks. And now this James, look like this dude might get off.
Man, all the stuff that I've been seeing coming through with that, like I saw the clip that you posted yesterday, him in the courtroom. My God, today, that is some acting right there, boy. But then, I don't know if you saw this video there's another video going around that was posted last night that I saw where the judge's ringtone, the judge now, his ringtone or his phone goes off. And the ringtone that's playing is, what is it, David? Is it not Proud to Be American? But
it is. No, it is. I forget the name of the song, but that's what that is the song. Yeah.
Proud to Be American.
The song.
I'm trying to see if I can pull it for
most of
real
the
quick.
Trump supporters play all the time.
Do we have that clip by any chance?
Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, so thank you, David. Appreciate it. See, we got a good David on our team.
Exactly. Because when I saw that, man, I'm just like, are you serious? You cannot make this stuff up. And this little white boy on the camera, man, shut the hell up.
I said, shut your monkey ass up, boy.
Right.
Proud boy.
Proud boy.
Boy, I wish I could drift into some old misogynistic old school tropes and talk about that little. But I've transcended. I've tried not to use my old language. I'm just gonna say that bit. But look like a little. Oh no, I know what it is. I know what it is. Oh, bit. Oh,
you know what? Real quick, man.
That's what Diddy called it. Diddy called it bitch assness.
Oh my God, he said it.
No, that was a compound word. That was a compound word.
It was compound word. Good job. I mean, and before we started, I wanted to tell y'all, first of all, thank y'all for yesterday. The team here, my niece's appendix ruptured yesterday. So I got a call like first thing in the morning, right before the show started. And she was like, yeah, my niece is in the hospital and they're going to have to do emergency surgery. So everything went well. They did the surgery. They weren't able to find the appendix, which is really weird. Because there was a lot of scar tissue. And the other thing about that is my niece has never had surgery before. So where the scar tissue came from, we don't know. But because the scar tissue was there, it really helped out. At first, they thought it was like a lot of pus pockets. But once they got in, they realized that, that wasn't pus. That was scar tissue. So the scar tissue actually, I guess you can say it helped her out a whole lot. But yeah, she's doing good. She's still in the hospital. She's recovering though, just in a lot of pain. But shout out to you, Taj. I hope you get better, baby. I come to see you today.
Definitely.
But yeah, she's doing good.
Definitely.
She's recovering, like I said, just in a lot of pain. So yeah.
Well, brother, we're glad to hear that, man. I was sending up some timber, man. I don't know how good my connection is with God these days. I do the best I can, and what timber I had, I was sending it up for little sweetheart, man. So
right, and I appreciate that.
Glad to hear the good news, man.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so here's this Kyle Rittenhouse clip. Now, is this where the ringtone?
This is the ringtone.
All right, let's take a look.
The actions that I had talked about.
We can't really hear it on our side, but it basically is it's kind of like the instrumental. And so the other part is showing what the song sounds like when Trump was on the balcony that night.
And I couldn't hear the music too well on my side. You said it was "God Bless America" or "Proud to Be an American."
Yeah, it was. It's like a very portion of that hook.
American. where at least I can die of COVID-19.
Oh, God.
And I won't forget the governors who made me die. Like Ren DeSantis in Florida. All right, what's next, man? Because I ain't got time for these. These people, there's the Venn diagram, the overlap between the patriots, the God-fearing American patriots, and those people who are supporting Kyle Rittenhouse and doing everything they possibly can to get this man off with murder, right? Are the same people who are doing everything they can to get us killed by COVID-19. I mean, the Ron DeSantis crowd, the George Zimmerman crowd. Like, the overlap is astonishing. And here we are.
There's another overlap.
Oh, God, what else you got? Let's get worse.
I'm going to cut in, Ben, only because rather than COVID, so there's a story that James is going to discuss in a couple minutes that I think ties right into all the calls for violence that we've been seeing. You'll see how I'm putting this thread together in a second. Okay. But Ben, you still haven't seen the Gosar anime video, right?
No, I haven't.
All right. Let's go with that first, and then I'm talking about Isabella, James. We'll probably get to that in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Go to
the Gozer video. This is Representative Paul Gozer.
Yeah.
Who? What it is. Oh. We'll put you
I'll help you out in a second. You don't have to put yourself on blast, G.
Yeah. We got you, bro.
I'll help you out in a second.
Notes. Yes. We got notes this time.
I see dead people.
When we started, listen. Don't tell everybody when we started everything was we got notes for you, bro. It's good. It's good. Right.
Anyway, yeah. So Rep Gosar.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
David.
He published from his official, his office's account, a video that was based on Attack on Titans. I'm no anime fan, but it was an. Yeah, so it's a video like an opening to a anime series, but his team put on the heads of AOC, Biden, and it focuses on the Haitian immigrants that were at the border. Initially, I didn't even watch the whole thing, so when I saw it the other day, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of crazy, especially because it was from his official account, not his political account. Tunde, play E1 and then we'll show the actual video itself.
The new normal in politics, I guess, is fantasizing openly about killing your colleagues without repercussions. Sunday night, Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar posted a manipulated anime video depicting him killing New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It also showed the Trump ally attacking President Biden with swords. Following outrage, Twitter flagged the post Monday night, but decided not to remove the video or the congressman from the platform, determining it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain accessible.
If a regular user, if a non-elected person was to have tweeted this video, it probably would have gotten taken down. It could have got them suspended from the platform, but Twitter has different rules for politicians.
Ocasio-Cortez responded after arriving in Scotland for the COP26 climate summit as part of a congressional delegation. So while I was en route to Glasgow, a creepy member I work with who fundraises for neo-Nazi groups shared a fantasy video of him killing me, the congresswoman wrote on Twitter. And he'll face no consequences because GOP leader Kevin McCarthy cheers him on with excuses. Well, back to work because institutions don't protect women of color. On Tuesday, fellow Democrats condemned Gosar's threatening behavior and called for Republican leaders to strip him of committee assignments. And Gosar's own siblings would agree.
Does he need to act on his sociopathic fantasy for Representative Ocasio-Cortez? I am very concerned for she and other members, and this is absolutely unacceptable.
For your sister to get on there and say, bro.
His sister and his brother actually campaigned against him in 2020.
Your own family doesn't even like you.
Damn.
Yeah, no, they've been calling him out for a while now. And mind you, Gosar is one of the guys that are potentially implicated in January 6th.
Go ahead,
so this all ties together, like I said.
Yes, and y'all, I'm sure y'all know that he probably didn't do it. That he probably had one of his interns or somebody that watches anime and saw that, and it was like, oh, really? You see what I'm saying? That's some BS because I love Attack on Titan. It's one of my favorite animes to watch, and for you to just do that, and it's a violent. The show is violent as hell, and for you to do that, that says a lot.
So James, you can give us commentary because from what I was seeing, the Titans are actually the good side of the story, and he's killing the Titans from what I was reading.
Well, it's very convoluted once you get down to it, but the Titans near the first few seasons were technically the bad guy, I guess, because they were attacking their smaller little area, their little city or whatever, and whenever they would break through a wall, they would just mass destruction, and they were eating humans basically. So
wow.
Later on, you kind of find out that they were just trying to coexist, but of course, the ones that are attacking them, then yeah.
Well,
were the ones that were attacking them trying to intentionally sabotage the alliance, the potential coexistence.
Yes, basically, because they thought they were still bad. That was
so the metaphor is still there.
The metaphor is still there.
David, are you with me?
Still there.
Well, that being said, you can.
I know. We're all excited. One at a time. James and then David. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say because basically, I mean, at the end of it, you'll see that the Titans, like I said, they just want to coexist and do everything like the regular people were doing. But no. But then it comes to find out that everybody has the Titan gene in them, so you can become a Titan.
Isn't that some stuff? Isn't that some stuff? Hey, Ma, love you, Ma. One day I'm gonna do an after hours episode. My mom.
We have to have Mama Dixon on.
No, so she can tell you all
He's
the
like,
stories.
no, that's okay.
No. If anybody knows how anyway, never mind. Certain things you weren't going to be privy to. What's the next connection thread? There's anher connecting thread. David.
So I want to play the full. It's about a minute and a half. I want to play the video that he posted. James, you can give us any feedback that you might see, and then
is this the one? Is this the one? The one
that Gozar's team put together with the doctored heads on it. And that's
okay. Okay. So that was explained. So we actually, and I guess now that you mentioned it, we didn't actually watch the video.
We didn't watch the whole thing. No. And so trigger warning because of the visuals of the immigrants that are in the video.
Okay. Actually took time to do this shit. Sorry for stuff. Sorry.
Do y'all see this?
Laundry telegram.
I thought so. Was that Marjorie
Wow. This is all really a game to them, isn't it?
Absolutely sick and disgusting, dude. That's crazy. I mean, the intro to Attack on Titans, I will say, is probably one of the better intros I've seen in any anime because I watch anime a lot. So for them to do what they did with that, bruh,
that's
freaking disgusting.
And the thing is this, right? So this is the game that conservatives play. They co-opt things that are innocuous, or at least supposed to be innocuous. Something that's like the OK symbol. Do we have the image of Kyle Rittenhouse shortly after he killed those two individuals? He was there's a photo of him standing holding up the OK symbol. What the OK symbol has been gentrified into is a symbol of white supremacy, basically saying that they are part of the far right-wing reactionary movement, the Proud Boys. That's what they mean. But see, this is what they're good at, though. Conservatives, they'll take the opening to this anime and then they'll say, oh, it's just a joke. Oh, you guys are too sensitive. Yet it's injecting yet even more violence into the national discourse when we're already a trigger-happy country.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I watched that video, I was just like, just the fact that it was put out on his official account as if this is just, a normal day of business.
And I guarantee y'all, nothing is going to happen. The president of the United States, you jumped and slit the back of this man's neck. I guarantee you nothing's going to happen.
And he did release a statement, Gozar, basically a long-winded thing saying that it was symbolic of the fight over immigration and clemency and all that stuff. Not clemency, but basically, that him attack, the sword and all that was just the visuals for the battle that they're in.
She said, this guy's creepy. She said, this guy is sus, man. She was like, okay. I work down the hall from this sus guy. This guy is so creepy. Yeah, no, he is. Y'all better lock y'all doors over there on Capitol Hill because this creeper is, he's probably,
So I brought this up first because I wanted to show what this is funneling down to, or what next is actually funneling up to Gozar possibly. And then we've got the end result. There's 3 clips, and if you don't want to play all 3 of them, Ben, that's fine, of the right calling for, a call to arms and for more aggression to be out in the streets. Let's at least play F1 and F2.
Okay, let's look at them. F1 and F2.
I'm so tired of pretend celebrities doing this kind of shit. In this case, I'm referring to Ricky Schroeder, seen here posing with Kyle Rittenhouse, who he just helped get bailed out of jail. He was on one sitcom and then the cover of Tiger Beat magazine multiple times. And now he's become just this far-right psychopath who made this video the other night.
I'm sitting here in disbelief of what our world is turning into in front of our very eyes. No one's going to stop it but us. So, this Veterans Day, 11/11, let's stop it. Too many good people have fought and died for this country. For us to let it go without fighting. And I don't see how the system that created this is the system that can fix this. This country is going to need rebuilt. This government will need rebuilt. So this Veterans Day, let's take our country back. I think what we have to do is stand up the militia. Whoever feels that they're part of the militia needs to stand up on Veterans Day. And you need to gather. You need to muster. Muster at your post office in a small town. Muster at City Hall. Get your friends and muster. And a show of force is what we need to do right now. This is our country. We're going to fight for our country.
He is calling for the violent overthrow of the American government by militias. This guy calls himself a patriot, but says the government that exists needs to be replaced. Not the politicians, the government. You're not a patriot. That's treason. And he's telling militia members to start at their local government level on Veterans Day, to go there, armed, and take the government. If there's even one incident of that anywhere in the country on Veterans Day, Ricky Schroeder needs to be arrested and charged along with the people who did it.
What's my guy's name right there? This doing the explainer, Michael what?
Michael Mick.
Michael Mick.
MC, I believe.
He's, I like him. You're not a patriot. That's treason.
I love him. Yeah.
That was good. Bro,
so this guy helped bail out Rittenhouse.
Yeah. It's all connected,
and that's
isn't
Ricky
it?
Schroeder from Silver Spoons.
You got it.
What?
What?
That loser?
I'm not familiar with the show, but yeah, apparently he did some kind of sitcom.
I've got more airtime than him. Why are people following this guy until Revolution?
Because you got to understand, you don't remember Silver Spoons?
I remember Silver. I mean, I remember I used to like it. I don't remember a whole lot more than that.
Because that's gonna eat up all them. Never mind. I digress. I digress.
The message doesn't stop there. Let's go to Dan Bongino. I think that's how you pronounce this guy's name.
Dan, this old test
and then James, I'm gonna bring you up to speed on your notes so you know where to come into the story. F2.
Okay. All right. Dan Bongino, Baloney.
These people are animals, ladies and gentlemen. They are savages. They are eager to punish you and destroy you. They will do it. It is time for mass civil disobedience on a scale we haven't seen. They cannot come for all of us at the same time. It's not possible. I spoke to Steve Deace yesterday on my radio show. He made a great point. Elections aren't enough to fix this. Until we get through in the American psyche that is more of us than them, and they work for us, that's a fact. That is a fact. And until there is mass civil disobedience in protest for freedom and liberty elsewhere, none of this is going to stop. Make them feel it.
I am impressed with how crispy his bald ass tape line is, though. Like, I've never seen a tape line go back that clean, and like, because normally when they back that far back, it's like, no, but his baldness is crispy.
And he looked like he looked like Dr. Mac a little bit.
Don't you do Dr. Mac like that?
I mean, he do. He looked like a young Dr. Mac when Dr. Mac was like in his young age, he was still out there macking, you know.
Hey, brother Mac. Hey, bro, brother Mac been a soldier since he was 18, bro. Right. Dan Bongino, whatever the hell this man's last name is. They like to fancy themselves to be hard. That's fine. You guys could have the claim to that toxic masculinity of, you know, all that toughness you're trying to. Because yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because if it leads you all dummies to marching up the steps of the Capitol on January 6th, and now these dummies are sitting in jail crying that they're political prisoners, no, you committed treason, moron. Follow Dan all the way to treason. I mean, obviously, I know what you're getting at, David. The violence here, the violent rhetoric. I guess it's the violent rhetoric I'm kind of desensitized to, because this is how they've been talking for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that man forehead big as hell though. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying. Look at how crispy it's going back. That's like an 8 head.
That's an 8 head. You could show a whole movie on that damn thing.
Hey, and it's reflective as hell.
Damn your head, big.
Super quick. But isn't that kind of what they're counting on? Is for us to sort of get used to them talking like this? Because honestly, like, I'm still shocked from January 6th, right? That
good on you, man.
The impact of that should have been far more than it was, but it wasn't as much as it should be, because we're all just like, oh yeah, violence. Like we're watching like a movie or something. It's not real to us, you know?
Yeah, to be sure, we are frogs in the pot on the stove, and I would say the temperature is probably a good 8 or 9 out of 10. I mean, we've since long needed to address these clowns very directly. I'm not advocating for meeting them in the streets, because that's not how we win. But they are a problem of a significant order. And I don't believe, to your point, Tunde, I don't believe that the federal government is responding to this kind of violence threat the way they should. And that's because they actually think, they being the military, the American empire, the infrastructure, the executive branch, the legislative branch, all the power levers, the bureaucracies, they still are making their bed with white supremacy, because otherwise they would be chasing these people out. If it was black folks on January 6th, we would be dead where we stood. The reason these people aren't even being arrested is because America agrees with them.
Well, and that's the thing, Ben. It's trickling into communities. Like, it's actually showing up more and more and more, which pulls James in to the story that he had highlighted and forgotten about.
Yeah, and when you brought it up, I was like, oh, I remember now. But it needs to be talked about. It does. To be talked about.
And it's not directly connected, but it's blatantly racist, and so it does connect with, like, just the messaging that everyone's taking in, not everyone, but that communities are taking in, and that people are.
So it is just before you run that and talk about it.
It's not a clip. It's just a graphic, but yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is most certainly trickling down. That's the only thing that's trickling down. Wealth has not trickled down. This hatred has. Go ahead, James.
Yeah. So this next story, Tunde, I know you put the clip up. If you want to run it as what is it?
It's just a graphic. It's just a still.
B-roll, yeah. It's just a graphic, yeah.
So I'm gonna read this to you. Rest in power, Isabella Faith Tinchinor, who's a 10-year-old autistic girl who committed suicide after racial bullying. According to the Salt Lake City Tribune, Davis School District has intentionally ignored serious and widespread racial harassment in the schools for years, failing to respond to hundreds of reports from black students after they have been called slaves, the N-word, and heard threats that they would be lynched, according to a jarring report from the U.S. Department of Justice. Those intentionally failure to respond to ignored racial harassment complaints has now led to an autistic student to commit suicide. In a statement written by Brittany Tichenor, our daughter, Isabella Faith Tichenor, was mocked by a teacher and some students. The abuse was reported to teachers, the administration, and the district administration. Nothing was done. The children continued to mock this young child day after day until she committed suicide yesterday. An SL Tribe article also reports May 2019, Davis School District drew national attention when the family of a biracial boy who went to school there filed a lawsuit describing how the boy was purposefully shut indoors of a school bus by the driver and left dangerously dangling. I remember that. Dangling outside as he drove forward.
Wow. Man.
10 years old.
Brother. There's a couple of routes that we could obviously go in this conversation. I mean, there's the natural inclination of reciprocity and that kind of thing, but that's not my thoughts right now. My real thought is that there's so many tragedies that happen naturally as a matter of course. We die, we get old, car accidents. It's just so many things that happen for us to be adding to those tragedies, and this is one of those added to. This little sister should be alive right now, but because of some sick human beings, our sister is not here. Now, I will say this very full-throatedly. That's why I'm not sending my kids back to these school systems ever again, ever. Right. And in a hot second, I'm going to advocate for us to never send our kids back to these schools.
Dude, and I'll tell you, my niece, actually the one that's in the hospital now, when she was in school, sister sent her to school when she's, I want to say kindergarten or first grade. There was a little boy that was there that was harassing her the whole time. My sister went to the school, talked to the teacher, went all the way up the line. They did nothing about it. And it was one day she went and the little boy hit her. So that day my sister withdrew her out of school. And she homeschooled her kids because these schools don't care.
Man.
You can go tell them this stuff all the time and it's just like they turn the other cheek. Oh, it's nothing. It's just harmless. It's just harmless play. They're in elementary school. Everything's going to be fine. No, it's not. If I come to you with to take it serious, this is my damn child. You need to take this serious as I do. You don't even have kids.
Bruh. Prayers and light to that family. My God.
And I didn't bring this all up just to bring you down, Ben. I probably should have given you a further trigger warning behind the scenes, but
it's all good. Like,
but
I
bring it up just because, as we're all getting numb to like everything getting bolder, just because, well, it's not stopping and nothing's changing. Eventually, it's going to get to it. I mean, it already is at a dangerous point, but it's just.
Well, it always see, and this is the thing. Like, people always, okay. All right, I'm back on the clock. Here we go. People try to sever the cause from the effect. With Kyle Rittenhouse, in order for him to get away with murder, they have to separate the fact that he was the cause, right? They have to separate the fact, say, oh, he was self-defense. No. It's not self-defense if you take yourself into a fist fight with a gun and get your ass beat anyway and then end up having to kill somebody. No, you created that ass whipping that you got. But America is so really good at severing the cause from the effect, and so is with this little precious child, right? The cause is that we are in a system that breeds cruelty, that breeds this type of laughter and joking at the expense of the least of these. Why is it that our laughter comes at the expense of the least of these? To the point where our babies are killing themselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And real quick, Ben, I'm going to put this number out here, and I'm sure David will put it in YouTube for me. Contact David Schools and put some pressure on their neck. Yeah. So this is part where we act. Let's act.
That's right.
Call 801-402-5261. 801-402-5261. Reach out to the Department of Justice to add pressure for more to be done within this district. Again, 801-402-5261. And if y'all want to look at more information or see this story, Isabella Faith Tichenor at Tichenor. I'm sure that you'll be able to find that story and read the link. Call them, add pressure. Let's put some pressure on their necks.
Put y'all boots on their neck.
On their neck. They like to put their knee on our necks, put their boot on theirs too.
Yeah. Let's turn to something positive, unless James, you want to play some music real quick. I want to go. I know you were at the Love Parade last week, I think you said.
The Love Parade? What's the
James?
Love Parade?
You said you were at a parade. I assumed it was the Love Parade.
No. He was
talking about
it was the World Series parade.
Ah.
What's the Love Parade?
Yeah, what's the love?
See, I thought we were off for a week, and you went to California.
Man, I wish. Damn. Man, you went to California and didn't tell nobody?
David rolled out, didn't tell nobody.
Damn.
That's where David was. That's why we couldn't have a show last Thursday, Friday.
Because David was in California.
Because David was out there just throwing it back.
Throwing it back.
So, well, James, did you know about the Gucci events?
No, I did not. See,
well, then we're gonna have to get your commentary on the fly about this stuff, because I know this is. I think you'll both be feeling this stuff. But you want to go to a quick break then and come back with that?
I guess we're going to a break. I guess we're going to a break because David keeps telling us we got to go.
David want to just go a damn break.
I just I'd rather stay. Let's stay on and
I can never get a feel for Ben,
because if we go to a break, I feel like if we keep talking, we'll be at 10:30 before we know it, and I could be at the beach. So what's this? What we about to watch? What we about to watch?
All right. So later stuff. Gucci held two events back to back. One in. I think they were both in California. One was the Love Parade.
1 second, David. 1 second, please. M7E. I don't know who the hell you think you is. This show and these men serve no other purpose than to divide us. Divide who, my dude? Man, get the hell on. Sorry, Diesel. M7E. Delete.
Are
you user Wiki 278 Have you? Okay. You know that movie? Are you user Wiki 278? That's what you sounded like just now, James. User M70.
M70, you must be a right wing person because you stupid.
It's probably one of those people mad at me. You know they mad at me because I be on Facebook just like giving them hell, and they be all over the place now. Like, I hate this Benjamin. Who the hell is Benjamin Dixon?
Okay. And they be mad at me because I be calling their ass out. Yeah, I call everybody out. Man, M70, you want to call in? What's the phone number? Let's talk to them. Let me start.
8576. Well, we don't have we'll have the phone numbers. I'm glad you said that, James. We'll have the phones back up next week then. I think that's what the spirit is telling us.
Nice.
Yeah, this is your opportunity. I would like to open the floor and opportunity to all conservatives, libertarians, free speech absolutists, international relations specialists.
All the trolls
I don't care if
in
you're
the
from the
chat.
Heritage Foundation or you from you could be from Boeing. You feel free to call in and test your luck, test your might. What do we have, David? The Gucci clips.
Yeah, let's go to. And if you guys aren't feeling it, we always have the screaming prophet that we love. But I won. You can play the music, but leave.
Wait, is this copyrighted? Is this the music gonna get us flagged?
No, it shouldn't. I mean, it's nothing crazy.
Okay, all right, let's take a look at it.
But you can put it in reaction.
Gucci is bringing a whole new meaning to the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Damn, this is a big deal.
The iconic fashion house shut down Hollywood Boulevard Tuesday night for their Gucci Love Parade runway show, and a who's who showed up and showed out. First, let's talk about the models. Here's Macaulay Culkin rocking a colorful jacket and top with some camel-colored pants. Jared Leto, a longtime Gucci ambassador and star of the upcoming House of Gucci movie, also hit the runway in an oversized blazer and lace-up pants. And check out Jodie Turner-Smith delivering a true fashion moment in a furry coat and turquoise shades.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
But when it comes to the audience, well, there was no shortage of A-listers. Gwyneth Paltrow caught up with Dakota Johnson. Of course, Dakota's longtime beau is Gwyneth Paltrow's ex-husband, Coldplay frontman Chris Martin. They even posed for a photo
Why
together.
they so messy?
And props to Gwyneth for looking just as chic as she did in 1996 when she first wore that red velvet Gucci suit. Miley Cyrus had a friendly chat with Lizzo, while it was a family night for Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade.
All right.
Yep, that's the basketball star and the actress strutting into the event with their 14-year-old daughter, Zaya.
Come on, Zaya.
We out here.
But
Dwayne
then
Wade
the
look like somebody
Wades
else.
linked up with more famous
He does.
families, the Johnsons and the Bryants. Check out this epic group shot. Kobe Bryant's wife Vanessa and their eldest daughter Natalia smiling next to the Wades and Magic Johnson's son EJ and wife
That's
Cookie.
a dope picture.
That's some
Vanessa shared a
basketball
bunch of
legacy right
candid
there.
snaps,
There
including
is,
some
dude.
selfies, a peek at her front row seat, a pre-show In-N-Out burger, and even this touching moment when she spotted a mural of her late husband.
Wow. That was dope.
Wow. Well, how about that? Who knew some entertainment news could make me feel maybe we should do more entertainment news, because this politics stuff be making me want to charge up the steps. Man, look, every day I got to be like, because what's that?
Ben, did you just say make you want to charge up the stairs of the Capitol? What you almost said, brother.
No, that's exactly what I said. Maybe want to do it myself. Shoot, because this country. Yeah, no, I ain't misspoke. I was going to do it before them, but I'm glad they went first. I digress. That said, I like that photo. That's basketball royalty. Right in that photo, Dwayne Wade and his family, Magic Johnson's daughter, and Kobe's family, his wife and his oldest daughter. Man, that was a beautiful thing.
It really
shout out
was.
to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo. All right.
That was good, David. I like that.
Yeah.
Damn, I missed all of that.
Good pick. Oh,
look at
your boy.
Look, Lanisha. All right, Lanisha. You did.
Is that what he's going by now?
No.
Oh, because if I like to respect people's name, like they got new names, I go with them now. Whatever. So he's. Oh,
we come up with all kind of names.
Lanish. Where did the "sh" come from?
Kanye is officially Ye, but Lil Nas X is still Lil Nas X.
No.
Right.
I get the Lanish, but where the? Okay, I get it. We'll talk.
Put the A on it. It makes it gay. Lanisha, Benisha.
Oh, you got to put the A on it. Because otherwise it'd be Lenix. Benjamina.
Benjamina.
What is wrong with this? But this outfit is fly, bro. Hey, honestly, if I didn't have a 6-pack of beer in front of me, I'd rock something like that myself, to be honest with you.
Man,
that's
damn that.
fly.
My 6-pack is under my fat, and I'm still going to rock something like that.
I said a 6-pack of beer in my stuff. What you say? You're a spark. Hey, high key though. I think marching band really did kind of like make us stronger than we realized. But anyway, I can't get into that outfit yet, Lil Nas X. But give me a couple months. I'm gonna rock something like that.
Right. And KFZ talking about Big Bird cosplay.
Well, Big Bird.
KFZ.
You got to be careful dressing up as Big Bird these days. A Republican might, pull up and try to Kentucky Fry your ass.
Right.
You got the vaccine? Big Bird. How many pieces of chicken is Big Bird? That's more than a bucket.
Big Bird be a big ass.
A bird can't get a needle in its wing without being criticized.
No, the only needle they want is the GMOs and the steroids. That's the only needle they won't go in any of them chickens. And I'm just assuming Big Bird is a chicken. You know, my black ass. Like, fry that bit up. Fry it up.
What kind of bird is Big Bird? Let's.
It's a big yellow bird.
Oh, I guess it is. It's kind of an ostrich.
Is it a mutated canary? No.
Like it or not, talking Sesame Street.
What is the mutant power, bro?
Happiness, maybe. Y'all remember the movie? Y'all remember he was blue, the big blue bird of happiness? See, y'all too young. Y'all remember the?
No, that was that's when the directors were taking mushrooms or some shit. That stuff was back in the day.
Jim Henson used to be on all of that shit. I sure.
Oh, hey, bro, have you seen Alice in Wonderland from 1933? If you want to see somebody who's tripping like shrooms or something, man, like Alice in Wonderland 1933. Take a look at that, but do not do it underneath. Don't even drink a beer and watch that. that thing is some creepy stuff if I've ever seen it. David, we only have a few more minutes left, about 10 minutes in the morning show before we get ready to go to break. We got any more clips?
I don't know if you want to talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or if you want to talk about our yelling preacher.
Oh no! Give us the yelling preacher.
Yeah, I thought it was like
yelling preacher. Yeah.
He's not whispering. I hear a sound.
Okay. Now this
not
is
whispering this time.
This is Robin Bullock. This is Billy Ray Jesus, and I hear a sound. All right, here we go.
H1.
Sounds like white supremacy.
Apologize. Go ahead and apologize. Well, no. How about that? Just so you can hear me again. No. Because you are wrong. If this had no meaning to it and no prophet standing speaking today was, if they were all wrong, why don't it go away? How come it hasn't ever faded away? How come it's still a fight over that election? If it was wrong and it wasn't true, then why are we still debating all of this?
He doesn't have as much volume as he normally does.
Folks, it would have already passed.
It's that COVID.
You keep your doctrines. You keep your doctrines, but I'll tell you what, you are going to answer for trying to regulate the Lord's prophets. You with your big educations. You're going to answer for trying to regulate a prophet of the Lord and telling a prophet of the Lord that what God said is not true, but what you said is true. You're in trouble. You're in trouble now.
That wig is a mess.
You got to put him back on B-roll. Put that man back on B-roll because that wig is a whole mess.
So I don't think he actually says it.
Benjamin, I'm still on air, sir. I'm still on air. Close the door, buddy.
I don't think he says it in the clip outright. But
first of all, what's up? What is he yelling about? What is this?
That's what I was getting to. So Right Wing Watch, when they tweeted this video, they said that he's screaming that he will not apologize for falsely prophesizing that Trump would win the election. You are going to answer for trying to regulate the Lord's prophets. You with your big educations.
Yeah, I got a big education.
And I think that's why he said,
hey, man, I got graduate school education over here, man.
Graduate school education. You better watch out.
Hey, James, I'm all but dissertation. Oh, man, James,
Rob Bullock over here.
Oh, man, listen, your big educations. All your bibbity-bobbity, hippity-hobbity, educated folk come down here try to take away my right to speak what thus said the Lord.
Like, oh, yeah, you trying to cover up COVID. Get your ass on somewhere.
He tried his best not to cough.
You're sounding like the North Carolina lieutenant governor right now.
Hey, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. We don't wish COVID on nobody, but the universe has delivered.
Delivered. Man, look.
Ooh, that weed.
There's only one thing meaningful to say about this guy. He's not a prophet.
He needs to take off the wig.
Tunde, take me down for a quick second. Y'all, take me down for a quick second.
What James about to change?
Just take me down real quick.
James.
I think I know what you. Oh God!
I keep giving this man a middle name. I got to find out James' real middle name. I know
James is Clyde.
Don't know his middle name. I know if I know him well enough though.
Yeah, no,
exactly
we've been down this road before.
Oh man. You know,
I mentioned the wig, and I
really did just build this whole thing so I could have people to hang out with every morning. Because it's all we doing it at this point. At this point,
you need to get yourself a new camera, Ben.
By the time I know, and I probably will actually do a GoFundMe so I can replace. Guys, my camera went out on me, and it's pretty convenient because I didn't want to be on camera right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it did go out on me in the travel, so we'll probably get that set up to get that replaced next week. That said, thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. Shout out to Babatunde in the background, man. You've been doing an amazing job in the absence of Dwayne. Dwayne, who is celebrating a new addition to the family. So shout out to him and his wife and their beautiful new baby.
Take down Pastor Bullock.
Yes.
Bullock.
Well, you know what's weird? It's going to be weird because I'm going to be looking like I'm in the upper room or something.
Yeah, no, leave it. Yeah, I guess. Here we go with the creepy.
There we go. There I just like. Okay. Yes, please bring. Wait. What did James do?
It's like some weird Twilight anchor, virtual anchor.
James.
Oh my God.
My wig looks better than his. I don't know what the hell.
Wait, James. Why do you have that wig, bro?
Halloween was like a couple of weeks ago, Ben.
Can you one shot James?
Wait, we're one shot James. You got a one shot James. Oh my God. This is everything.
I'm a city girl.
I was thinking by the power of Grayskull. Man.
You look fabulous.
Thank you, David.
Oh man. Patreon.com/like it or not for more of this complete and total irresponsibleness. This is what happens when you're not here, Rebecca Azor.
Both Hillary and Bill Clinton. You look like.
Oh God. Oh my God, Tunde.
Somebody said Dog the Bounty Hunter vibes. I know, right? And this is funny. It was part of a costume that was going to be used as a hillbilly costume, and this is the wig.
Oh, that's half of Rebecca right there. What you talking about? That's the trucker.
Proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free.
You look like a young Billy Ray Cyrus.
Young Billy Ray.
Billy Ray Jesus. Hey, James, give it to us one time. And I won't forget the man who died.
To give his life for me. I'm gladly stand up next to you. Where's Rebecca?
I was tempted to do an impersonation of Rebecca doing an impersonation of a redneck. But I think that might be above my pay grade today. Now they're gonna be paying. You know, the funny thing is that we just getting started doing this thing, man. We're gonna be having so much fun making fun of all these mediocre white conservatives who are trying to destroy this country and this planet, quite frankly. So patreon.com/like it or not. We're getting ready to cut over to the after party in about 3 minutes. Patreon.com/the BPD show, wherever you are a member this Friday night.
If you like seeing Ben's face, sign up for at least 1 month just so we can bring up. Because apparently his camera's going to be delayed otherwise.
I just FaceTime Rebecca to show her my hair. She all in the bed sleep, and I was like, Rebecca, you like my hair? I love you, sister. Because we was Billy Ray Jesus.
Billy Ray Jesus was on the show.
What the hell?
Bring Rebecca closer to the microphone.
Say hey, Rebecca.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, Rebecca sounded like a whole like you know how you wake up in the morning, you sound 10 octaves lower.
Right, bye, Rebecca.
Okay. She got off that phone.
She's at her event.
She got off that phone quicker than a bird. All right, Rebecca.
Rebecca in the bed sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up all the way.
All the way
I know,
up
right?
on vacation
It's
day.
a, it's an off day. Look.
On the off day. You're going to hear about that shortly. All right, folks. I'm doing everything I can to make time go faster. Only thing I could do.
No, we got a solid after party. I got some surprises up my sleeve.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, David, y'all send some love up to David. I want to say, David, man, we couldn't do it without you, man. You are a good white person.
I really mean.
You know, there's a whole lot of ideas for merch for Like It or Not, but I don't know if I want that sweatshirt or not.
Right.
I don't know.
David, you are a good white person. Should
I don't
be
know.
a t-shirt.
I don't know. Let us know in the chat. I'm with this good white person. If that sweatshirt would work.
He's got the caption.
Get you a white person like David. That's
and he's got a caption underneath that says "the highest of compliments."
Did the audience hear you?
It is. It's the highest. It's the highest of compliments. Good. Because the last white person that talked to me like that. Anyway, I'm joking. They're doing fine. They're doing fine.
Wow.
They're out of ICU. Anyway, I'm joking. I can't fight. Go to break. After party.
After party next. It's going to be closed. Member only. Tune in.
Only.
Oh,
all right. Turn up.
All right, y'all. Make sure that y'all stay tuned. The after party is coming up next. Don't want to y'all make sure you stay tuned. The after party coming over YouTube. Join the after party.
Push up and butter me.
Y'all make sure y'all bring y'all asses on over there. We'll see you then.
We don't need a recipe. With that cream, baby, pour that sweet on me, baby. We can cook up, we can stop when we hook up, just you and me. With that cream, with that, beat this oven up like 5,000 degrees. It's almost ready, we've been craving this all week. Baby, you want it, I got it, I'm hooked on you.
Hey, what's going on there? Barbara, thank you. I'll congratulate my week.
And this ain't no time to be modest. Hit that, push that, shake that, girl, take your last name, let's hyphenate it. We don't need a recipe.
My cousin just texted me.
With that cream, baby, pour that sweet on me, baby. Shade it, we can cook up, we can serve.
Say again, I'm
we
sorry.
hook up, just you and me.
Oh, okay, got you.